Behind the Ramble is proudly sponsored by Glasby Pallets. They're offering a one-stop solution for all of your pallet needs. Get in touch on 01709 585 646 to discuss your pallet requirements. Thank you to Sonny and the team at Glasby Pallets for all their support of Behind the Ramble.
Coops here. Subscribe to Blade's Ramble. Keep following, and all the best.
The Poohousery.
The Poohousery. What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to Behind the Ramble. I'm, of course, Jimmy, and this is a little bit of an update, and not a channel update. Everything is staying as it is. Well, I said that. It's different because it's closed season, isn't it? So we are still putting out content daily at the moment on certainly weekdays on the Blades Ramble. We're doing our 10-minute transfers. We'll be hopefully doing a live roundup at some stage to talk about the week's rumours. That's a suggestion that's come in that I think is a really strong one and something that we can look to do. Behind the Ramble, we continue. Thank you to everybody that's supporting both channels because the Uber content's gone down really, really well. I also want to try and give opportunities to those that support us the most in the Platinum Ramblers group who have been chomping at the bit to try and get more involved and be on screen. So we have been experimenting with content, really, because I never want to put out content just for the sake of it. But this was an ideal time to experiment with new content. And we're doing watch-alongs we've done the internationals. We'll be doing the Club World Cup, and we'll be having different ramblers on to join me for co-coms as well, which I think is a great opportunity. So it's more today a personal update a little bit. And I'm not going to go on for ages and ages. Well, you'll know if that's true, depending on length of video. But I certainly don't plan on going on for ages. As always, no script, just talking to you openly and honestly about the reason I'm coming on. And I'm going to try and stay on track somewhere without going off on a tangent. That's why I've done it recorded as live. There'll be no cuts or edits in this. But usually there's comments and things flying in when it's live, which I love because you guys fuel our content and we steer what we talk about depending on what you say in the chat. But again, I'm just trying to keep on track because today or this week, from the 9th of June, Monday 9th of June to Sunday 15th of June, it's Men's Mental Health Week. And that is something that's really important to me personally. But as a channel, we've always tried to advocate for mental health awareness, and I struggle with my mental health. I've previously been on medication. I talked about going cold turkey on the medication a couple of months ago now, and I was going to go back on, but I couldn't well, I haven't, to be fair. Not couldn't, that's the wrong thing to say, but I haven't. This last couple of weeks is probably the only time where I've thought maybe I could have done with a little bit of help, but is that a crutch? Don't know. So just to pull the curtain back on those that haven't been following the channel that long, because we have had a load of new subscribers and I really appreciate the support with that. I lost my mum. It's 3 years since I lost my mum on the 4th of June. And it's a birthday coming up this Friday, so 2 days away as I record. So I knew this time period were coming up where I would likely struggle. So I saw it in the distance and I thought, what can I do to push me through, make sure that it doesn't affect the quality of content that we're putting out on the channel, and make sure personally that I don't go down, obviously, as well. Needed to keep busy was the initial thought process. So we planned all this content in over the summer. I'd sort of scheduled it all in. Great. I am going to be able to keep busy here, particularly with the tax scene as well, because whenever I'm not doing Ramble stuff, there's all sorts that goes into both these channels, particularly the Blades Ramble. There's accounting, there's sponsorship deals. There's obviously, I don't plan a lot of the content. I plan out when I'm going to do the videos, but I don't plan like, oh, well, I'll do this. I'll talk about this on that day. The closest thing we've got to that is the 10-minute transfers. But normally, like yesterday, the pre-season fixtures dropped. Right, let's get a thumbnail done and let's go live straight away. I didn't research what the previous is, and that may be a flaw, but I also think that that's a real conversation. That if your mate rang you to say pre-season fixtures are out, let's have a chat about them. That's the vibe that we go for on the channel. So I'd planned roughly what content we were going to do. I knew we were doing the international and the Club World Cup watch-alongs on Behind the Ramble and the Uber stuff. I know that we're going to have plenty of transfer talk on the main channel, along with anything else that comes up, because obviously there were even a rumour last night, as I speak, that Chris Wilder might have gone. I think that's daft, and I might look daft saying that out loud now when this gets released. But so there's always been a little bit of a concern as to making sure the content remains worthwhile, and my real gauge for that is, would I enjoy it? And maybe that's quite selfish in a lot of ways, but I want to put out and participate in content that I enjoy. So that's a big part of what we do on the channel. So I saw this time period come in, and I made sure we were busy, and I think that's just a natural thing to do. But I have burnt myself out a little bit, and I could see myself I did a stream last night as I record with Man Mountain, who is one of my favourite people to record with. As you know, he's a big part of the channel, and I thank him and everybody that contributes. But we were doing England v Senegal last night, and the game was decent, to be fair. It was a decent game, but I was more engrossed in the conversation with him because we were talking about United and all these different, and the transfer, the thought process going into the transfers and what we might need and how we can perceive it. And I could see myself like not drifting off to sleep, but I just looked washed. I looked gone, and I've had a decent kip now. I've had, I think, 9 hours, which is a lot for me. I know I needed it, and I still might look a little bit washed to a few of you now, but I need to look after myself a little bit more. Is probably the lesson that I'm pulling out of this whole thing. And I've been quite low because of it. So I've not been firing on all cylinders. I put a message out on X. Let me see if I can find it now. I should have probably been a bit more prepared than this, but as I say, we just tend to press go on these things, don't we? So I put a message out yesterday or the day before saying it's men's on this one on X. It's Men's Mental Health Week. Family is happy and healthy, which is always the number one priority. Ramble's doing great and growing all the time, which is true. Loads to look forward to. I had a really exciting meeting with a couple of people yesterday, planning some really good stuff for the Ramble. So there's loads coming, loads that I'm really looking forward to. But then my next line was, no shame in admitting I'm really struggling at the minute. It's not a sympathy post, and it's not, nor is this a sympathy video. Just raising awareness that it's okay to talk and you're not on your own. Thank you to Charlie for posting in our group, and thank you again. I'll say it as we record. Charlie posted links to menshealthforum.org.uk and Andy's manclub.co.uk. So thank you to Charlie. Really important to signpost people to those sort of places. So the main message for me wanting to come on today was thank you firstly to everybody that's checked in on me, who've been with us a while and are now considered close friends, because you know to check in. You can tell sometimes just by my face and my demeanour, even though I'm trying to paint a smile on. And I'll always be honest with everybody on screen, but I certainly don't want to sit there and just be, miserable on screen, really. So, and I'm not miserable. I don't feel, but you know what I mean? I don't want to be overtly low. I want to always try and keep things upbeat, even if I'm not always feeling it. But I'll always come on and be honest with you. So I haven't been myself recently, and I know I need to take a little bit of time for me. We've got a couple of pre-recorded things coming out over the next few days. I'll be doing Hot Topic tonight as I record, because that's my commitment to our Ramblers, and I'll continue to do that. But I'm just going to try. I'll have a day or two off the taxis, I think, as well. Just a little bit of downtime, and I am absolutely fine. I certainly already feel like I'm on the other side of this, even though my mum's birthday's on Friday, which might be a bit of a wobble. But we're going to caravan as a family, and we're going to enjoy it, and we're going to have a good break. When I say a break, I probably will still be doing Ramble bits, but it's not about me. It's about spreading that important message about people might think that I've got the best job in the world for me, I come online, and because of the support that people show me, both in subscriptions and Patreon backing and the sponsors that we've got, I get to talk about my football club, our football club, on on social media, and that's my job. That is incredible, absolutely incredible. I have got, again, the priority is always that your family's happy and healthy, and mine is, touch wood, touch everything that gives you every bit of luck that you can. That is so. Looking outside in, everything should be fine, but always up here sometimes it's not always. So that is, and I'm okay, but I've got a platform to try and spread this message a little bit. And even if you're not directly, if you're watching this and you're not directly affected, it's just to plant a seed at the back of your mind that somebody close to you probably will be, whether you know it or not. It's that message of being kind all the time. I know that if somebody dropped a message in our platinum group, for example, and was really struggling, they would be flooded with support and made to feel as okay as we can do that as third parties, and not just in the plat. It doesn't mean you have to become a platinum group for support. Anybody in the comment section, we've cultivated it, and it is a we have cultivated a community here that is supportive and respectful, and that is what we want. That is what we want. It doesn't, you know, there's things that are much more important than football. Even though we all love to talk, we're all here predominantly, certainly on the Blades Ramble, to talk about Sheffield United. But we've got to be looking after ourselves. If we don't look after ourselves, we can't enjoy the football, can we? So plenty more to come on both channels. Thank you to everybody that's checked in with me personally. I am fine, and this is not a plea for any more sort of, go on, Jimmy, I hope you're okay. Please, it's not a video like that, I promise. It's more, if you are struggling or someone you know might be struggling, please either talk about it, because talking isn't always the best way, but it's acknowledging what is going on in your head. And I'm no psychologist, but this is certainly just from my own experience. For ages, I didn't talk about this, but I was aware that I was struggling, and I was still trying to have coping mechanisms. So keep looking for those coping mechanisms. You don't have to talk, because it does make you feel vulnerable when you talk, but do whatever you feel you need to do. It might be medication, it might not be medication, you might be against that. Do what works for you, but do know that you're never, ever on your own with this, because there are people that you would never, I don't just mean me, but there are people that you would never think suffer with this sort of thing. And they really do. And sometimes suffer in silence, sometimes suffer quite openly, and share their stories with people. So thank you again for everybody's continued support. A little bit different to the type of video we tend to put out. This won't be like, it's not planned to be a regular update thing. But obviously the week that it is Men's Mental Health Week, the week that it is for me personally, where I'm going through a difficult time, and sort of I decided to go head down and full steam ahead, just plow yourself into work and get through the week. It's sort of run me down and made me a little bit more vulnerable. So I need to get a balance, and I think it's always a learning curve, isn't it? But thank you to everybody. Love you all. Come on, you red and white wizards. Up the blade.